I am going to call to order the Public Works Finance and Safety Committee meeting of June 15, 2020. And the first, we have roll call on here. This never used to be on here. Roll call, please. Kristen?
I can handle that. Albertson,
Here.
Bueller,
Here.
Boyer. Absent. Pauline.
Here.
Lallam,
Here.
Manti. Absent. Rademski,
Here.
Roby,
Here.
Billhauer,
Here.
Y.
Present.
Thank you.
Thank you. The first item on the agenda is the approval of the consent agenda.
So moved.
Have a motion by Holeen and a second by Rademski. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All right.
Oh, we need roll call. We only have 5 in here. We gotta have a roll call vote, please, Kristen.
Oh, boy. Okay. Here we go. Albertson,
Right, we don't.
Al-
Right.
Dan Albertson,
Aye.
Bueller,
Aye.
Pauline.
Aye.
Lallam,
Aye.
Rademski,
Aye.
Roby,
Aye.
Billhauer,
Aye.
Y.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you. The next item on the agenda is the public input. This is a time reserved for anyone who would like to make a public comment to step forward and do so. Please state your name into the microphone if you're remote and say request permission to speak. Is there anyone here who would like to speak? Seeing none, we will move on to approval of the agenda. A motion by Billhauer and a second by Holeen. Is there any discussion? All right, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Those opposed signify by saying nay. Roll call vote, please, Kristen.
Albertson,
Aye.
Bueller,
Aye.
Pauline.
Aye.
Lallam,
Aye.
Rademski,
Aye.
Roby,
Aye.
Billhauer,
Aye.
Y.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Item 6 is the regular agenda, and A is approval for the street division to purchase a 2020 broom bear sweeper for $288,105 from Sanitation Products, Inc. via Sourcewell bid. So you need a motion?
So moved.
I have a motion by Holeen. Second. And a second by Rademski. And I see our street superintendent, Rob Bainan, is here. Rob, you want to tell us about this?
Sure. Thank you, Mayor. Basically, this is a broom we've been budgeted for. We have $290,000 in the budget, and the Sourcewell bid came in at $288,105. This would be through Sanitation Products via Sourcewell bid, which we've been doing more Sourcewell bids. I think other departments have used Sourcewell as well. And basically, it's very similar to the one we got, I believe, 3 years ago. It's a broom bear. The only thing is, this is, of course, newer, and it's got a little bigger hopper, about an extra cubic yard. And it's a longer wheelbase, but otherwise it's about identical. And we are budgeted, like I said, for that. So I ask council to approve this Sourcewell bid. And that's all I have, other than if there's some questions.
I would like to ask, if you ordered this now, when would it be delivered?
The lead time on it's 4 to 6 months. Truck chassis are pretty difficult the last about year and a half, 2 years. They've been running behind. So it would be, if we do get this, if we get it this time of year, it will be probably not used this season unless we have an open winter.
So is it possible that we could wait 2 months and have it be in next year's budget if we're not even going to be able to use it in 2020, pay for it in 2021?
The price will change. I have talked to Randy about that from Sanitation Products, and the price will change on that. Now, I don't know how much it's going to go up, but it will be going up.
Okay, so there's an incentive to buy it now. And-
Yeah, and the other thing, I did look at our last Broom Bear purchase, which I believe it was in 17, but that Broom Bear was $268,000, and this one's $288,000. The only real difference is the hopper is 1 cubic yard bigger and the wheelbase is longer, but otherwise they're identical machines. So that's $20,000 in about 3 years, 2 or 3 years.
Okay, how many sweepers do we own right now?
Right now we have 3. My original plan was to replace the '06 Schwartz broom with this one. But like going into this season, early in the season we got started and we had 2 machines break down right away, and we were about a month without those 2 extra machines. So what I'd like to do is currently keep that '06 for a backup and have it there as a spare when we do have brooms break down, because it happens so often. They do break down a lot.
Okay, so you want to keep at least 3.
Yeah, and that would be ideal, is to keep 3, and if we have a spare, a 4th one like that, it will definitely help us when we're down machines, because we actually started sweeping, I believe it was, I want to say it was late February we started sweeping this year, and we only had 1 broom running for quite a while, and we had a new operator in it, and it was slow going to start out with. So
Your recently completed sweeping plan, how many brooms does that assume that we have going?
and to complete the first round of sweeping generally takes just shy of 2 months, and that's with 3 brooms running. Being we did start early this year, we're on schedule to finish the first round of sweeping just before the July 4th.
Okay, questions, Council? Councilman Roby?
Rob, this is Don. Just a question. When we're making a late year purchase like this, where the equipment won't be used until next spring, is there any chance they could delay the start of the warranty?
That's a good question, Don. I can check into that.
Thank you.
Councilman Rademski?
What's the life cycle of these machines? And the other question I have is, when these break down, is it the same thing that breaks down all the time? And can you put your finger on any reason why these keep breaking down?
There's a lot of, first of all, the life cycle. I mean, like this '06 broom that we would have actually been replacing, it's generally, we run 10 to 15 years on a broom before we cycle them out. Our replacement cycle that we have scheduled is 10 years, but it seems like, I've been here for 6, and it'd be nice to be on a 10-year cycle. But the reason they break down a lot, there's a lot of moving parts on a street sweeper, and the ones we're currently trying to cycle out of the system, they're 2-engine machines. The Schwartz machines they have a rear engine, which is about 70 horse, and then a drive engine, which is your standard truck engine. That's a lot more moving parts. What we have now in the new Broom Bear that we got about 3 years ago, that's a single engine machine, and it uses a front engine to run all the sweeper parts, all the broom, gutter brooms, the rear broom, and the lift flights. There's just a lot less moving parts on that, and a lot less, seems to be a lot less issues. We did have 2 or 3 years ago when we replaced the old broom we had, it was I think a 2003 Broom Bear that we replaced, and that was a single engine machine. It had a lot less issues than these twin engine machines. So I would say a lot of it has to do with twin engines. Some of it is just high wear parts. What What the flights lift the material up on, it's like a conveyor type belt system, and there's metal parts that the belt or squeegees they call them. There's actually metal squeegees that rub on metal to lift the material up to the hopper. So it's abrasion resistant steel, but it does wear out about 2,000 hours. Every 2,000 hours we have to replace basically the whole flight system.
All right. Are you pretty comfortable with the warranty that they provide?
Yeah, we actually, on this warranty, I think I have asked for an extended warranty of 5 years. Generally, I ask for extended warranties up to 5 years, and it does cost more money to get that. But let's see, if I piggyback on other bids, like we piggybacked on some bids for dump trucks, and I had to go with their warranty because it was through other bids that we were able to piggyback on. But this bid is for a Freightliner extended warranty of 5 years and a sweeper warranty of 5 years. So that definitely does help. It's nice because even like on our broom bear, when we've had issues, I call up Sanitation Products and they take care of getting it repaired. It definitely helps.
Thank you.
Councilman
And
Vilhauer?
if,
Rob, this is Glenn. Just a couple of questions. There was not a trade-in. There's no trade-in on this, correct? I mean,
no, there's not.
so I'm assuming you're feeling keeping on back as a spare is worth more than what the trade-in would have given us?
Absolutely. We did our last broom bear, we sold that on the city auction, and if we would have traded it in, we might have gotten a bit more on trade-in, but I'm assuming their markup would have been more too. I think we only got $3,500 out of our last broom that we sold on the city auction, and even if we would sell it,
Not much.
say nationwide on Purple Wave, I don't think we'd get over 8,000 or 10,000 max on something like that. There's more value to us to keep it because if we can save downtime, I think that's a big deal if we're able to save downtime.
Do you have any sense that, did this bid come in, I mean, we budgeted 290, you said. I mean, did we get a pretty favorable bid, and in light of the COVID, that maybe we got a little better bid than what we would have gotten otherwise? Do you have any sense of that?
You know, I really can't speak to that. I don't know, you know, if COVID wouldn't have showed up, I don't know how things would be.
Okay.
I venture to guess, you know, because of COVID, things are even more behind on building equipment, and you know, I think it'll take longer to get equipment. It took us a long time to get spare parts for the ones that were broke down because of COVID. That's why it took about a month to get the parts to repair the other two machines. So it did take longer.
Okay, thanks, Rob.
Councilman Lallam?
Thank you, Mayor. Rob, on that bid, there's 288,105. The Freightliner warranty and the sweeper warranty looks like it's about just shy of 14 grand. That last bid, that you said it was it 260 something?
268, yep.
Did that include the same type of warranty on that?
It did, yes.
Okay, so we are comparing apples to apples there. I just wanted to make sure that we didn't have that. And 5 years for warranty on that for, I would say, pretty nominal amount. What does that cover?
Actually, it's bumper to bumper minus wear parts such as gutter brooms, rear broom, brake pads, that type of thing, windshield wipers. But anything that you'd have on actually like a standard automotive warranty, the wear parts are not included.
So it pretty much covers anything that's mechanically they had issues with, but minus
Right.
stuff that we potentially could wreck or just wear out from use.
Right, exactly. Yep.
Okay, that's what I know. Thank you.
Right. Any other questions or comments? All right, I'll look for action. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Those opposed signify by saying nay. Roll call vote, please, Kristen?
Albertson,
Aye.
Bueller,
Aye.
Pauline,
Aye.
Lallam,
All right.
Rademski,
Aye.
Roby,
Aye.
Billhauer,
Aye.
Why,
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Item B is authorization for the street division to purchase one new 2020 Bobcat Toolcat with attachments from Bobcat of Watertown via an NASPO bid in the amount of $58,847.65.
Motion to approve.
Okay, I didn't, who made the motion? Lalum?
Lot.
And second by Holleen. And Rob, go ahead and tell us about this one, please.
Thank you, Mayor. Basically, this is a machine that we budgeted for, and in the budget line, we have $120,000, which is to include a tractor, and then basically we're looking for a sprayer. This machine will replace our side-by-side Polaris Ranger that we currently use to spray with. This machine we're looking at here is a sealed cab, a pressurized cab with air conditioning. What we currently have are side-by-side. When we send people out to spray with that, we should be wearing safety gear. Our guys we have the safety gear for them to wear, but on days where it's hot, such as this week, it's completely miserable for the guys wearing a ventilator system and the full suit, full garb. This having a cab filter and a pressurized cab would help that situation. We'd be able to spray anytime we need to. This Toolcat, it can take any of the Bobcat skid steer attachments for the front that they offer, and it also has a small tilt bed box. For like we did boulevard cleanup here a few weeks back, maybe a month ago, and I actually rented a Toolcat from Watertown Ford, or Bobcat of Watertown, and it was just ideal how it increased our productivity and our work speed on the boulevard cleanup. So we did that in 4 nights, and we did more sweeping than we've ever done on boulevard cleanup. But we're looking at it for spraying. It would come with actually a used sprayer, slightly used. It's like new. I went and looked at it. It's about an 18 or 20 foot booms, if I remember right. So it'd be able to make anywhere as narrow as I believe 6 foot swath of spraying, clear up to 18 foot wide. And it is all-wheel drive and all-wheel steer. It can run a snowblower on the front. We'd be able to use it for that, for any type of sidewalk stuff we're dealing with. We currently have a snowblower that'll fit on that. It would come with separate attachments, would be a 62-inch wide light duty bucket, nothing heavy duty there. We don't want to use it to do heavy duty work. It's meant for the type of thing we're looking for. We're looking at getting a 84-inch angle broom with it for boulevard type sweeping and anything we'd have where we'd need some small sweeping done. And then the used weed sprayer. But the unit it's similar in weight to a small Bobcat skid steer, about 5,700 pounds, and they're about 61 horse. And then it has the hydraulic hookups on the front, and it will have a small hydraulic hookup on the back for if we'd want to pull a small box scraper through alleys with it or whatnot. Early in the spring, it would work for that as well.
Will this
So we're looking
replace?
Excuse me?
I'm sorry, I thought you were done. Go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say, yeah, like we are budgeted the $120,000 we have in the budget, and this will come in at $58,847.65. So that would definitely cover that.
Okay. Does this replace another piece of equipment, or is this
Yep.
brand new addition?
No, it will replace our Polaris Ranger that we currently have. We're not looking at trading that in. We actually still have a use for that as well. The springtime cleanup, when we're going out and picking up garbage in the ditches to mow or the top cuts, that type of thing, we actually sent the guys out, 2 guys out in that this year, and it worked just great because it's just really handy. It's not that you couldn't use a pickup, but it is handy, and I believe at some point, if there's other departments that could use a side-by-side, we could certainly look at, if they have a better use for it than we do, we could look at them having it. So
This, sounds like this new piece of equipment would be used all 4 seasons for lots of different miscellaneous.
Right, it's very universal. I didn't even know that they actually existed until oh shoot, less than a year ago. But they're heavy duty and they do a lot more than I thought they could do. I thought they were just complete side by side utility vehicles, but they're quite a bit heavier and they're built to actually lift stuff, light stuff, and they can take several attachments, anywhere from a 84-inch mower on the front to a snowblower to brooms, even large fan units if you want to blow off roadways or whatnot. They even offer that. Bobcat does offer a lot of attachments, and that's certainly, I think it'll be a handy tool to have in our department. Besides spraying and doing boulevard cleanup, we're already looking at some of the stuff we could use it for with our snowblower attachment in the winter.
Okay. Councilman Lallam?
Thank you, Mayor. Rob, on this one here, I don't see a warranty on that. What is their standard warranty on there?
You know what? That's a good question. I believe it's a year.
Okay.
I should know that. I will get back to you on that though.
Okay.
I believe it was a year.
No, it says it on there, there's $120,000 budget item. You're talking about another tractor of sorts?
Right. This was actually this was budget line that was to replace the one tractor that we use for box scrapers, and we also mow with that tractor, and then also to replace the sprayer. I was hoping to get one unit to do it all, and not have to use near the dollars in our budget, because that was based on a tractor that would do everything other than having a front broom assembly that we use on the boulevard cleanup. We could have a rear broom on a tractor, and we actually used Park and Recs last year for boulevard cleanup, and it worked pretty good, but you have to be looking back at the sweeper the whole time, and we had some very close calls to hitting poles in the boulevard because our operator had to look back. With this Bobcat unit, the sweeper is in front of you. So, and it has 4-wheel steer, so it turns on a dime, and he was able to maneuver around stuff very well with it, and it was just a lot better. And plus it has a box where the guys that were walking along and running the air or the backpack blowers and the hand steel sweepers, they were right there. They just walked with it, and they were able to pull out of the box and grab what they needed when they needed it. So it was extremely efficient, very impressive.
No, there's a used 18-foot weed sprayer.
Right. And this sprayer, I did check on some details on it, and they don't offer that sprayer anymore. But just a few years ago, a person locally bought it for over $5,000 and used it only once or twice on their spraying. And it looks like brand new. I went and visually inspected it myself, and we're able to get it for $2,500.
And then what are you envisioning all these items besides just for, bucket and brooms? Are you envisioning winter time as well?
Yeah, what we're looking at, we do currently have a snowblower for that we use on a skid steer, and it will also fit on the front of this and work just fine. It's a Bobcat style attachment, so we could hook it up to this thing. This thing does 18 miles an hour down the road, so it's similar to our smallest loader we have going down the road. So if we'd have some stuff in certain areas anywhere around town, we could get there in a fairly quick hurry without loading this on a trailer.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else have questions or comments? Councilman Vilhauer?
Kristen, this one's coming your way, Kristen. Rob, I don't doubt that we need these items, but between the one we just approved and this one, and as well as what else you might be looking at, yeah, we're talking $400,000. I guess, Kristen, I'd like you to weigh in from your perspective on these items.
Thank you, Councilman Vilhar.
In regards to the 2020 budget, we've seen the sales tax numbers come in through April. We're definitely not seeing the increase that we budgeted, but we're also not seeing a significant decrease at this time. I've been talking with Rob, and I think if we do these couple, he also had some other larger pieces of equipment that were also approved in 2020. And I think the game plan is to hold off on those as we get a little bit further in, just to see what the 2020 numbers continue to do. So I feel comfortable with these couple, but he does, like I said, have a couple other larger pieces of equipment that we'll wait for before we order.
Okay, thanks, Kristen.
All right, thank you. Anyone else? Adam, your hand is still up. Did you have something else? Councilman Lallam?
No, sorry about that.
Oh, no problem. All right, I'll look for a vote then. All in favor signify by saying aye. Roll call vote, please, Kristen?
Albertson,
Aye.
Bueller,
Aye.
Pauline,
Aye.
Lalo,
Aye.
Rodemsky,
Aye.
Roby,
Aye.
Bill Howard,
Aye.
Y.
Aye.
Motion carries.
All right, thank you. Item C is approval of a professional services agreement for concrete testing services associated with the air carrier ramp reconstruction, project number 1925, with Braun Intertech Corporation in the amount of $37,700, authorizing the mayor to sign all applicable documents.
So moved.
Motion by Helene and a second by Rudemsky. And I see our airport manager, Todd Cyrie's on. So Todd, will you please tell us about this?
Absolutely. Thank you, Mayor. This is a concrete testing proposal we got from Braun Intertech for the terminal apron project. So we went out for RFQ. Actually, Helms and Associates is on the line as well. If you guys have any questions for them after I'm done here. We go out for an RFQ for this, and Braun Intertech was the only company who got back to Helms and Associates. And so this is their contract for concrete testing for the apron project. It's in the amount of $37,700. We had $45,000 budgeted for this line item in the project. And it's 90% eligible, just like a federal CIP project. So any questions for me or Helms on this?
Councilman Villar?
Todd, I do have a question, and it's not regarding this, but is ours still just the 5%? I thought we were going to be moving up that 6.5% portion very soon, if not already, or did this get grandfathered in, or can you explain that, Todd?
Absolutely. It's a great question, Glenn. The 6.5% will kick in next year.
Got it,
So
thank you.
this is still at 5%.
Okay.
All right. Anyone else? Councilman Lallam?
Todd, on this one here, looks like they're going to be on site. Is that basically what it is? Checking the concrete on a daily basis? Is that, I mean, that's what I'm kind of reading there. I just didn't know if there was anything else that was more involved in that or not.
Yeah, no, so they'll be on site. They'll take core samples from each lot and each sublot. There's certain specimens they have to take for the breaks, the 28-day breaks. And usually they'll give us a 3-day break just to kind of give us an idea if we can get equipment back up on it. And then they'll give us strength tests all throughout the 28-day process. So they'll be going back to their labs with the product.
And you said there's core samples. Are they going to let it set up and then essentially drill out a hole? I mean, that's pretty much what they're doing.
Sorry, not core samples. They'll be taking samples off the trucks and setting up tubes. Correct.
Yeah, it always drives me nuts when they pour concrete and then they cut it out right away.
Yeah, no, we did that on the runway, and that was not a good idea. But this is they take samples right from the truck. Sorry.
Okay.
So yeah.
Thank you.
Other questions or comments? See none, I'll look for action. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Roll call vote, please, Kristen?
Albertson,
Aye.
Bueller,
Aye.
Pauline,
Aye.
Lallam,
All right.
Rodemsky,
Aye.
Roby,
Aye.
Billhauer,
Aye.
Y.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Item D is authorization to advertise for bids for Cattail Crossing Golf Course greens, Blue 1, Blue 2, and Red 8 renovation and replacement.
Mayor?
Who said that? Was that?
Todd.
Oh, go
Syrie.
ahead, Todd.
Sorry, just wanted to, before you jump into that one, I just wanted to make sure we got this out, that we signed up for a pre-application last week. Was the FAA's deadline was Monday this week for our $1 million entitlements for this year, based off of the CARES Act for 2018 employments. The application will be coming here in July, and we'll bring the application, the actual application, to Airport Board and Council for discussion and approval.
All right, thank you. Yep. Knew you were going to bring that up. I sort of forgot about it. Thank you.
Sorry, thank you.
Okay, so back to item D, the authorization to advertise for bids.
So moved.
I have a motion by Lallam and a second by Holeen, and our Park Rec Director, Terry Kelly, is here. Terry, you want to tell us about this?
Sure. Thank you, Mayor. This was actually brought to the board in April, which did receive a recommendation for approval, but the action taken was not to bring this to you until this particular meeting. There were a number of council members also present at that meeting. And the reason we did that, obviously, was the financial status of where we're going to sit at this time. I have discussed a little bit with Kristen, but that's why we bring this before you now. Again, this is just permission to advertise. This is not in any way a bid approval. With this project, we got an engineer estimate of $208,000. Currently, we have $288,000 in that line item for this. So I will entertain any questions the council may have.
All right, thank you. Do we have questions? Councilman Holeen?
Thank you, Mayor. TK, what is the necessity behind redoing these greens?
This is part of our master plan that started, probably close to a decade ago with renovation of all our greens. This was actually a 2018 project to follow the yellow. If you recall, Councilman Holeen, we did the yellow greens plus red one in 2017 with an opening of an 18. This was supposed to be an 18 project. These are the last three push-up greens in the course. They play differently. They're disease prone. They are just part of our plan to get all 27 to PGA or sand-based greens, not dirt push-up. And the reason we moved this is it seemed like we had about 8-9 years consistently under construction. And the players finally came to us and said, hey, can we have a couple years just to enjoy the course? So we did push this project back to 2020. Unfortunately, it did fall into a year of the COVID. But that's, I guess, Councilman, why we feel the replacement of these last three is essential to long-term. You know, it's not an aesthetic thing. It's more playability and consistency.
Right, thank you. Other questions or comments? Got a hand up? Councilman Lallam? No?
Yep. Hey, just a quick question on that. With this being done, what is the life expectancy on those greens other than, standard maintenance?
Standard maintenance until technology changes. I don't know that, Adam, but I would say the push-up greens have been there 80 years now, just as push-up. With sand-based technology and the new maintenance techniques, well past our generation in the next 3 to 4, I would guess. And I say, I'm not a turf technician, but a long-term with proper maintenance.
Okay, thank you.
All right, anyone else? I'll look for action. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Roll call vote, please, Kristen.
Albertson,
Aye.
Bueller,
Aye.
Holeen, Lallam,
Aye.
Rademski,
Aye.
Roby,
Aye.
Billhauer,
Aye.
Y.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you. And item E is authorization to advertise for bids for Phase 1 of the Lake Campesca recreation trail loop. And I see we have our consultant here, Vanessa Victor from IDG, but also I'll let the park director, Terry Kelly, introduce this for us.
Yep, I'll just do a quick lead in. Council, this mimics the last motion by our board, was to recommend approval to move forward on this project. Again, we were waiting to see numbers of where we're at, but our consultant, Vanessa Victor with IDG, has taken this project from day one, all 4 phases. She can definitely tell you where we're at in the project, the importance of the project. So Vanessa, I'll give it to you from there.
Perfect. Thank you, TK. So the plans are all pretty well assembled for phase 1 of the trail. This does take us from Pompesca Boulevard, basically straight to Spooner Drive. From the concept level of the trail, we had hoped that we would actually have constructed it last year, but we ran into some property owner negotiations that delayed the project. We have all of those in hand today, so the project can be bid. The current estimate for the project is $496,000, and it was always the intention that Parks was going to pay for that out of their budget, to make a splash and say that they were committed to continuing the trail around Lake Compessa. With any other questions, I'll be happy to ask.
All right, thank you. Before we start discussion, I need to get a motion. A motion by Vilhauer and a second by Bueller. Okay, now, council, any questions? Councilman Vilhauer?
TK or Chris, how much do we have currently set aside budgeted for the overall bike trail loop project?
Kristen will probably have an exact number. We're just above 900,000. My last check, but Kristen, do you have the exact figure in front of you?
I don't have the exact,
Okay.
but it is right around that 900,000.
I guess, but obviously, we have more than enough set aside to cover this phase of the project.
Right. And I am working with Justin Peterson, who's on with us as well. Other than that, Glenn, we have a small couple little fixer projects or some connectivity projects that Justin's been working on. But they're not, they're just kind of that $30,000 to $60,000 project. So in no way does it's a large sum, but it does not risk our fund that we have in place.
I guess I'll follow up on that answer then, TK or Justin. We have not yet bid out that, I know we're talking different area now, that 21st Street section, because we still have some FAA issues to get worked out there. Is that a correct statement?
Justin, as project manager, I'll let you take that on.
Yes, we're waiting on the approval of the airport plat that would allow for us to finish that 21st Avenue bike trail.
Okay. Is that, and again, I know we're getting off topic here, but is that going to happen this summer?
That is the hope. I've been told that it's pretty close, but
Okay.
we haven't got approval
Okay.
yet. So.
I didn't mean to put you on the spot, Justin. I'll get back to this other phase that we're looking at, though. Vanessa, you said we've got issues resolved with the homeowners along there. Is that, I guess, Matt, you're on, is that a fair statement? Because that was the holdup last year.
It is. I have signed easements and temporary and permanent easements along the trail, so we're good to go on that. I did want to just quick add in that TK and I had talked about, just because if we get a decision today and we're going to take it out to bid, basically bid opening wouldn't be until after the 4th of July to try to give somebody a proper amount to prepare a proper bid. But with that short time construction, we had thrown out the idea of adding a bid alternate for construction early next spring, just to see where the cost would come in.
Okay. But we do have homeowner issues resolved then, is what I'm understanding.
Correct.
Okay.
Well, I would say yes and no. I mean, the issue about the property line has not been resolved, but
But is that gonna hold us up potentially this summer yet then? I guess that's the ultimate question.
That's council decision.
Okay,
Well, I guess the point is that the alternatives that we've discussed is that we can, the property line is what it is, and we can take the property as it is, being given to us by the Carters, with the understanding that there's some property owners out there that are going to be utilizing our property. So it's really going to be up to the decision makers as to whether or not we're going to continue to allow that, or how that's going to get hashed out. But because there's been a lack of response from those property owners at this time, I don't see any other choice but to proceed and take the property from the Carters as is, and work out those issues down the road. But there's now going to be people gardening in our property, on our parkland.
but that won't hold up the bidding process though in the meantime then? Sounds like we got some things to get resolved that we can still bid the project out.
That is correct.
Okay.
Correct.
Okay. Councilman Lallam?
Thank you, Mayor. So on this one here, is it feasible for this to be done yet this year? I know, Vanessa, you said that we'd possibly look at a bid alternative for next spring, but what's the time frame on construction?
It is feasible for somebody to get it done this year. It just depends on a contractor's schedule. Just like anybody else, there's COVID concerns and it's delayed everything a little bit. So I would throw out a bid alternate just as a potential cost saving measure for the city.
And you said that goes from Spooner to where?
From Pompesca to Spooner Drive.
From Pompesca to Spooner?
Yep.
Okay.
And this does tie into a couple future, we've got 4 phases. The state's looking at doing their area by Sandy Shores, and we'd pick up along 139. And those are kind of sequential in calendar years. So, that's where it is nice to stay on, so we don't have that gap when those stages move forward. So,
Well, and we got some funding from the state on that, did we not?
about 380,000 secured, and Vanessa just is about to put the intent for another around the same amount, Vanessa.
Yeah.
So potentially up to around that 700,000 to 800,000 for that 139 section.
Okay. Thank you.
Councilman Roby?
Pardon my confusion, but there is no map in the packet, and I'm looking at a map online. You said Pompesca Boulevard. Pompesca Boulevard's over by the zoo.
Pompesca.
You said Pompesca Drive?
Yes.
Okay,
yeah,
because that's
Hidden
over
Valley.
kind of by Hidden Valley.
Right.
Thank you.
Yes, for it.
Pompesca. Any other questions or comments? All right, I'll look for action. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Roll call vote, please, Kristen.
Albertson,
Aye.
Bueller,
Aye.
Pauline, Lallam,
Aye.
Rademski,
Aye.
Roby,
All right,
Vilhauer,
Aye.
Y.
Aye.
Motion carries.
All right, thank you. I'm really excited to get this going. This is good news. Should be fun. All right, the next item on the agenda is old business. Do we have any old business? Councilman Vilhauer?
Rob, as long as you're on, and TK, are you still there too? And maybe you aren't, maybe it's,
Yes.
I need to run it by Heath, but what's the status of the work out at Jackson Park and also on the asphalt by the city park? I mean, that was not done last year, it was put on hold. When is that gonna happen?
We actually have, just Thursday, a planning meeting among staff. And Justin, I'll let you, or Rob, you're if you want to give us the update on that.
Justin, you can go ahead. I think you have more information on it than I do right now.
On Thursday, we have a planning meeting with the contractor and to discuss those projects or that project, develop a game plan, I guess, whether the conditions are available or right to move forward. It is
So
still
what was
kind
it-
of wet
What was
in
the
that
problem
area.
last year? The water levels were too high that it
Yep.
couldn't be done last year? Okay.
Correct.
Well, we got to get especially Jackson Park done.
Still high, and we have record groundwater levels too. I mean, it's, you, as eager as you are to get going, really, we need to wait for the proper conditions. And maybe I mean, we have seen the lake come down quite a bit, the groundwater's dropping too. Hopefully it'll be good. Councilman Albertson?
Thank you, Mayor. I just have a question for you. Yesterday, we had quite a windstorm out by the lake here. So I really have two questions. Will 4th Avenue, is there any chance that would be opened up again for tree branches and all the stuff that happened? You know, I know there are a lot of different things that went along the roads here, you know, along the South Lake Drive and so on. And I just was curious if anything is being planned for that.
Oh, we haven't had any conversations about that, but I can certainly get with Rob and Justin and Mike Berger and talk about what we can do. I actually haven't been around and I haven't seen reports, but I believe it, that wind was something else. We probably do have a need to open that back up. That's a good idea. Is that what you're recommending, Councilman Albertson?
Well, I'm just asking because I happen to be one of them that have 3 big branches. So I just wondered if there is any option for it, because Blue Barrels doesn't. So I didn't know if the only option would be to take it out to the city dump then.
Yeah, well, we'll have a conversation about that. And Justin, if you could make a point to set that up so we can have that conversation with everybody that would be involved, I'd appreciate that. We'll get right on that, Councilman Albertson.
All right. Sounds good, Mayor.
Thank you. And then I have another question on that same line with that windstorm. Obviously, the golf course has many, many trees that were marked. And last year we talked a lot about getting a chop saw that would help these guys take as many as 3 trees down in a day as compared to 1. We got several taken out this winter, maybe, I don't know how many, let's say a dozen. But if we'd had the chop saw, maybe we'd have gotten 3 dozen out. I'm just concerned that after a wind like last night, that some of these trees that are marked are having branches hanging up in them, and all of a sudden a golfer will be walking under there and have that dropped. And maybe we should have looked seriously again about that saw and the claw to help take them down. So just a question.
Right, thank you, Councilman Albertson. We have been working on that. Terry, you want to tell them about what you've been having conversations about? We are planning to get one of those.
We did put the grapple saw in 2021 during just our recent process. And we also are looking at the potentially of our forestry staff, how we can restructure that. We have been with only one forestry staff for about 2 months since Junior Block's retirement. That position will start this coming Monday, the 22nd. That'll be a huge help. Like I said, Dan, on top of the wind we've got, just the condition of some of our trees, emerald ash borer around the corner. That's why it's in the budget. I've been working both with Terex, which they're new in the development of that type of saw. So we've got a couple prices. Right now, we don't have the ash borer, so we think staffing and the piece of equipment we're requesting, we think 2021 will be the right time. It's obviously better to have it 3 years ago, but right now we don't have the staff to be able to run it. And that would be part of that 2021 proposal as well. So I hope that helps a little bit, Councilman.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate that. Councilman Lalum?
Thanks, Mayor. To piggyback on Dan's question, I know there's trees around town that are down, branches down. Have we had anything as far as our city crews out there, Rob, trying to take branches down? And I know there's a couple of bigger trees through the middle of town that went down.
Right. We have been working with Park and Rec today on more tree cleanup. Matt and I have talked this morning, Matt Branzer and I, and we dealt with a few trees. Actually, there was a boulevard tree that was laying on a house that we helped with, and then I have 3 teams working today on trees. So we're continuing to get clean up. We were cleaning up boulevard trees too since the last windstorm, and now this one last night that definitely threw a wrench in our plans.
Yeah, and they're talking about 2 more days of heavy winds. So, I mean, that's something that we maybe, Mayor, I'd be okay with us, looking at opening that 4th Avenue one for people that have branches that go down, simply just because, how hard it is to try to get rid of small branches. If you got a branch that's 6 inches across, it's going to be real hard to get rid of. So,
And Councilman Lallam, to what I want to express on that is, some of the things we're seeing is, the boulevard trees we're going and cleaning up. The hard part of our staff is those ones that were in somebody's backyard that were drugged to a boulevard.
yeah.
And we just, that's where the 4th Avenue, because we just don't got time to do another citywide cleanup with everything going. So that's the difficulty we've been facing is that drug tree that's private versus a boulevard. So just an FYI, I have battled that.
Yeah, it's going to be hard because some people don't have the wherewithal or the equipment to get rid of that, either a truck or chainsaw or something along those lines, but maybe their neighbors could. So if we have an opportunity where we can open up that 4th Avenue and, maybe it's only for, a few days, maybe it's end of this week into Monday, Tuesday next week, and that gives them time to get some help out there to do it, I would be okay with that. Just simply to try to help out versus trying to have
Sure.
people hauled out to the dump. And frankly, it kills less of the grass, and it gives people an opportunity to get it out of there, with relative ease as much as possible.
Thank you. Appreciate that support. Councilman Bueller?
Thank you, Mayor. Director Kelly, if I might ask you, have we discussed at all using private contractors or outsourcing some of that tree cutting? Until we can find the equipment that we need to purchase to do that.
Yeah, not, Bruce, not in a long-term contract agreement, but we have used a number of private contractors when it exceeds our equipment. Some of our large cottonwood boulevards that we need a larger boom or that grapple saw, we do contract it out, but we have not looked at, say, a long-term contract like we do with, say, snow removal.
No, I wasn't.
We have not done that.
Yeah, Terry, I wasn't implying that we would do it long-term, because I think we've got a plan to purchase equipment to do that. But in lieu of the fact that we are short-staffed, and if we want to get a jump on this tree cutting schedule, maybe we need to do more of that right now at this point in time.
Nope, agreed.
Yeah, all right. Thank you. Is there any other old business? Is there any?
Mayor?
Oh, yes, go ahead, Matt.
So I just wanted to clarify my comments on that park trail discussion. What I meant by that it's a council decision was that last year, as we were proceeding with that project, there was a sense that we should wait to proceed to bidding until we work things out with those landowners, with those homeowners that were encroaching on that land. And so what I intended to say, what I meant by that was that has not been worked out because of the lack of communication from them. So what I meant by it's a council decision is that still hasn't been worked out. As long as everybody knows that, we can proceed forward with bidding on the trail project.
Thank you for that clarification. Appreciate it. Is there any other old business?
Mayor?
Yes.
This is Rob.
Okay.
Could
Go
I
ahead, Rob.
could I speak about the warranty on those 2 items we talked about earlier, the street sweeper and the Bobcat unit?
Mm-hmm.
I did a little bit more research, and Don had a question about the start date of the warranty on like the Broom Bear, if we could push that back. And I did check, and the warranty would start at the time of delivery, the date that it was delivered. So it won't start at the time of the approval of council or anything like that. And then the warranty on the Bobcat, it's a 1-year warranty from time of delivery. It's a bumper to bumper warranty, and it's unlimited hours for 1 year.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Appreciate that. Is there any new business? Not seeing any. We will have an executive session in order to discuss and consult with legal counsel on confidential financial information for economic development purposes. We do not expect to take action when we come out, but I'll need a motion to go into executive session. Motion by Billhauer and a second by Bueller. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Roll call vote. Kristen?
Albertson,
Aye.
Bueller,
Aye.
Helene, Slalom,
Aye.
Rademski,
Aye.
Roby,
Aye.
Billhauer,
Aye.
Y.
Aye.
Motion carries.
All right, thank you. So everyone that's remote needs to log out of this meeting, and the councilman log into the executive session meeting.